Thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Go to brilliant.org/FutureNow to learn more and sign up for free. In the metaverse future, watching a YouTube video like this on an actual physical screen will probably feel a lot like hooking up a VHS player to your TV to stream a movie you can watch on Netflix. And I'm not talking about a future decades away. Parts of it are actually closer to single-digit years away. You may have already heard the metaverse come up a lot if, like me, you listen regularly to podcasts about tech or internet media. And yes, I said internet media to avoid the term creator economy. And now I've just said it anyway. Great. If you're not that kind of nerd, you've landed on the right video because I'm going to break the metaverse down for you. If you don't care about the metaverse, you need to read video titles better before clicking. So what is the metaverse? I mean, it sounds like something out of science fiction or Marvel, and that's because it kinda is. A science fiction writer, Neil Stephenson, actually coined the term metaverse in his book Snow Crash as the name for a virtual reality world that's a lot like playing a first-person MMORPG like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, or even Minecraft. If you've read or watched Ready Player One, that book is also heavily influenced by Snow Crash's metaverse. I'll actually come back to this book later in the video because, like most good science fiction, it provides a dark yet probably accurate look at what can happen when new technology isn't responsibly developed from the start. The metaverse in real life, or well, not real life, but you get what I mean, is being planned for as a sort of evolution of the internet, or some people say a replacement for the internet. Speaking of which, I'm sure the word internet sounded just as silly 50 years ago as the metaverse sounds to us right now. The metaverse is essentially a virtual world that is continuously existing simultaneously for everyone in the world, just like those games I mentioned earlier. You can attend virtual events, meet up with friends, or even go to work in the metaverse. But wait, can't we do all of those things right now on websites and apps on our computers, phones, or tablets? Well, especially in 2021 when remote everything is the norm and we all already socialize, work, and attend events in the global simultaneous world that is the internet. Well, instead of accessing websites and apps on glass rectangles, you access the metaverse by wearing some headgear and maybe some haptic gloves so you can actually touch and feel stuff in the virtual world. And whatever came into your mind just then, yep, it'll almost certainly exist in the metaverse, if it doesn't already. Today, the foundations for the metaverse are already really robust, mainly in the form of games and VR headsets. Oddly enough, one of the closest things we currently have to a metaverse is Roblox. Of course, if you're in your teens or younger, you probably don't find that odd at all. Roblox is a platform with a set of tools that allows anyone to develop what they call experiences within the world of Roblox. Most people think of Roblox as a game or a set of games, but the stuff that happens in and is built for Roblox expands way beyond just games. Just last year, Lil Nas X did a series of 4 live performances inside Roblox, attended by over 30 million people. Earlier this year, someone spent over 4,000 real US dollars buying a digital Gucci purse for their Roblox avatar. A purse, mind you, that costs less than $3,500 to own in real life. Yep, Roblox has a thriving economy within it where people can buy all sorts of digital goods like cars, clothes, and yes, Gucci purses at the virtual Gucci store. And developers of these experiences and items are making a living from it. You could say that for many of Roblox's users and developers who spend hours on end on the platform, Roblox's world is more of the real world, where they hang out with friends, go to events, and make and spend their money. But to an extent, this is again not an extremely novel phenomenon. The writing was on the wall with games like RuneScape and World of Warcraft, except these experiences are becoming more immersive and more mainstream outside of just gamers. And most importantly, we now have good and rapidly improving virtual reality headsets. Oculus, the VR brand owned by Facebook, released its first consumer headset in 2016 that required you to be tethered to a fairly beefy computer to use it. By the following year, it had already released a wireless version, and most recently, the Oculus Quest 2, its lightest and most popular version yet. There are about 60 million Oculus users in the US alone, and it's only growing as the devices get more affordable and more mainstream. And as the market grows, developers are motivated to create VR applications that are more than just games and gimmicks. Facebook itself recently announced Horizon, which is still in beta but is essentially a copy and paste of Roblox, Facebook's favorite replacement for innovation. Besides being created by one of the world's most hated companies, the main difference is that unlike Roblox, Horizon exists as a VR exclusive experience. Oh, and the characters kind of look like Mii's from the Nintendo Wii, minus legs. While the Facebook Horizon trailer is kind of nightmare fuel, Mark Zuckerberg's vision for the future is way beyond a bare-bones social VR game. He imagines a metaverse overlaid on our real world thanks to alternate reality or AR tech. In fact, at a speech to Facebook employees, he literally said their overarching goal is to, quote, bring the metaverse to life. I bet that didn't sound ominous at all coming from the Zuck. Of course, when you hear folks like Zuckerberg or Tim Cook talk about their vision of the AR future, it's the most boring possible vision. Tim Cook's main example in an interview with Kara Swisher was that augmented reality would make conversations so much better because he could pull up charts. Ah yes, the dream. Way to think different, Cook. And Zuckerberg spent a decent amount of time in a recent interview with Casey Newton discussing how AR would be great for having work meetings with holograms of your coworkers instead of using Zoom. And then said one of the wildest boring things, that you would be able to sit down at a Starbucks and pull up your perfect workstation and have as many monitors as you want with a wave of your hands. This is how they're pitching the metaverse. But in reality, or rather augmented reality, the metaverse isn't just amazing because we can recreate real physical experiences in a virtual setting. It's amazing for the potential to churn the world around us into basically whatever we want whenever we want. You can walk around the real world and encounter people who may look all sorts of different ways. Maybe not even like people at all. And the street you're walking on could be anything. Want to walk around Tatooine? You got it. In my last video about NFTs, I mentioned that I could see a future in which people would buy and sell digital goods in the form of NFTs that they would use much like we do physical goods. We can wear virtual accessories that everyone else will be able to see through their AR glasses, buy virtual property, virtual art to put on your virtual walls, etc. And everyone else will be able to see this stuff too. It's really similar to those games I mentioned earlier, where people currently buy character skins and items, except it won't be in a single game, it'll be wherever we want to take it. And instead of being worn or used on a screen, it'll appear to be in the physical world. We can also get information about the world around us in real time. So you, say, walk into a store, probably a virtual one, pick up any item and buy it from the retailer with the best price. Then it'll be sent to your home. The metaverse will also be an incredible accessibility feature for folks unable to have certain experiences today. The metaverse will rely on a variety of different advanced technologies, but a key one is the AR computer's neural network capability. It's what allows that computer that'll be in your glass frames to very quickly scan the world around you, interpret what is there, and adapt based on your requests. Without this working properly, the illusion is ruined. And if you want to better understand the science and math behind neural networks, in fact, not just understand it, but build your own, you should check out the courses on Brilliant. They'll teach you all the mathematical fundamentals you need to get started in an incredibly unique way. You're essentially reading a story full of interactive challenges that will teach you new concepts and then immediately apply them in delightful ways. And if you want to skip straight to the neural networks, I recommend their Introduction to Neural Networks course, which starts off teaching you how an AI researcher in 1960 built a computer that learned to become the ultimate tic-tac-toe player. A computer built entirely of matchboxes and colorful beads. Like I said, delightful. From there, you can get into even more advanced neural network courses or check out their giant catalog of interactive math, science, and computer science courses. It's honestly kind of addictive, and I find myself opening the Brilliant app and going through courses when I'd otherwise be doom scrolling through Twitter, so that's a win-win. To learn more about Brilliant and support my channel, go to brilliant.org/FutureNow and sign up for free. Plus, the first 200 of you that go to that link will get 20% off their annual premium subscription. Aside from neural networks, there are sets of technologies we'll need to develop whole cloth that don't yet exist and may not exist for a really long time, just like the internet was built using its own set of technologies. Except so much of the power to access all of this will need to be built into something as small as the frames of glasses. It's entirely possible it'll be distributed across multiple wearable devices like a smartwatch, but ultimately this won't catch on unless it looks natural and not extremely nerdy. There's a reason Google Glass never took off. And there's a reason you don't see many people using their VR headsets in public. Perhaps the actual tech needed and how we might get there is fodder for another video though, so let me know if you want to hear more about it. This is where we get back to Snow Crash, the book that coined the term metaverse. The future that the book envisions is not a particularly romanticized view of the metaverse. Companies and individual entrepreneurs in this world have gotten so powerful that they've divvied up the world and run it in lieu of federal governments. Sounds kind of familiar. In the book, the metaverse is accessed in more of a VR way, where you stay put and go into the metaverse, rather than having it exist around you all the time. This becomes another way to create a gap between classes, as those who can't afford to use the nicer metaverse accessing terminals are stuck with subpar ones that render your metaverse avatar in poor quality. So basically you're walking around pixelated while others are nice and crisp. And of course, there are exclusive areas of the world not everyone can access. Literal walled gardens. With massive companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Apple all jockeying for position to build the metaverse, the book's predictions don't seem so far-fetched. Legendary tech reporter Kara Swisher often tells tech CEOs that they need to imagine the Black Mirror version of whatever technology they're working on, and then not go forward with it. As opposed to just putting something out there, crossing your fingers, and hoping it doesn't negatively impact the world. Snow Crash is essentially the Black Mirror episode for the metaverse. Unlike the internet, we may end up with our most important technology platform being segmented and owned by a handful of companies, as opposed to the relatively free and open web we have now, where even the most massive companies all exist on the same internet. With literal lenses distorting the world around us and allowing us to see whatever we want to see, or we allow others to show us, there is also a very real threat of people becoming even more detached from reality than some already are. Imagine the danger of misinformation and conspiracy when instead of reading a misleading post on Facebook, you're literally seeing something and interacting with something that isn't there. We will all be able to choose the kind of world we want to live in rather than being forced to share the same spaces together as they are. It's important to recognize what the negative consequences of these major technologies can be before they're built, rather than dealing with them as they arise. So I hope this gave you a bit more insight into what people mean when they say metaverse, and some things to keep in mind as it becomes more and more of a reality. Let me know in the comments if this is something you're excited about and if you've had the opportunity to try out VR. Besides checking out Brilliant using my link, you can now also support me right here on YouTube by becoming a member of the channel. You'll be highlighted in the comments, start getting access to custom emojis, and be able to see members-only content. This is a brand new thing I'm trying, but if you want to be one of the first channel members, just click the join button under the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.